Hare Krishna, welcome to our weekly discussions of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have now entered the seventh chapter of the first canto. We have completed the first six chapters. So, sorry. So what we are engaging in now, that is speaking and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the most auspicious activity according to scriptures, because Srimad Bhagavatam says that with every rising and setting of sun, we are coming closer to death. Ayur harati vai pumsam udyan astan chayan asto tasyate yat kshaноnika uttama shloka vartaya. As the sun rises and sets, we come closer to death. Like, there are some calendars where each day you put it down, and then the next day you put the calendar down, every page. At the end of the year, there are no more pages to put down. Similarly, there is a calendar of our life when we are born. Each rising and setting of the sun, we are putting the page down. But there will be soon a day when no more pages will be left. So Bhagavatam declares that our body has limited time, and we need to use it for perfection. Animals cannot do this. We can understand the goal of life. We can make the best use of this human opportunity. Like, when you buy a medicine, a tonic bottle, it has an expiry date. Similarly, as soon as we are born, this body also has an expiry date. So we have limited time to enhance our consciousness and make progress towards Krishna. And if we don't do that, then we are considered to be as bad or as good as animals. And the Bhagavatam very graphically describes that there is a serpent which is devouring an animal. So the serpent is compared with time, kala. Just like a serpent devours a frog, we are all devoured by time. Some of us are almost inside the jaws of the serpent. 90% of our body has gone. Some of us, the serpent has only held our ankle. Some of us, half the body has gone inside. So we are all going in with each rising and setting of the sun. So therefore, Bhagavatam appeals to us, make perfection in this life. And this chapter, which we are going to read now, the seventh chapter, the first 11 verses, which we'll start from today, this reveals the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam and how Srimad Bhagavatam can actually bring solution to all suffering. So we discussed in the first six chapters, we have reached a stage where Narad Muni has asked his disciple to glorify Krishna. Right? The Bhagavatam has begun with a very beautiful verse, Dharma Projita Kaitava, how Bhagavatam kicks out all cheating religion. So Bhagavad Gita ends with surrender to Krishna, and Bhagavatam begins with surrender to Krishna and ends with glorification of holy names. And Chaitanya Charitamrita begins with chanting of holy names. Of course, that is another subject matter. But we saw in the previous chapter, so we have ended first six chapters. In the sixth chapter, we saw Vyasadeva asked Narad Muni that what did you do after all the sages who instructed you left? And then Narad Muni spoke about his life, right? That is what we discussed. In this chapter, the sages led by Shaunaka Rishi, they are asking Sutta Goswami that what did Vyasadeva do after Narad Muni left? Are you saying? It is a similar question. And then after this question is asked, then from second verse to the eighth verse, Sutta Goswami will answer. And this answer is the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, what do you think Vyasadeva did after Narad Muni left? Narad Muni gave him all instructions. Then he left. What do you think Vasudev will do? Meditated. Why? He will do what his Guru instructed him. Narad Muni told him that you meditate and you write Bhagavatam. That's what he does. And then after this first 8 verses, the 9th verse, the sages further question that, well, why do you say that Bhagavatam was written by Vyasadeva and then he taught it to his son, Sukadeva Goswami, who was already liberated? If somebody is already liberated, why does he have to be taught Srimad Bhagavatam? And in response to that, then there are 3 more verses. So that's how the first 11 verses of the 7th chapter are explained. So before we begin with the first verse, I just want you to remember this very clearly. We have completed 6 chapters of the first canto. The first 3 chapters which we discussed, what does it focus upon? But what is it about? Question. The 6 questions were asked by sages, and Sutta Goswami answered them. That ends the 3rd chapter. Then 4th, 5th, and 6th chapter is very special because sages have asked further questions. Right? They ask more questions. And answers to those questions is what has begun the 4th, 5th, and 6th chapter. How Srimad Bhagavatam came, how Vyasadeva was despondent, and how Bhakti Yoga has to be performed, all of those things. So like this, we are going to discuss now. The first verse of the 7th chapter, all of you, if you have access, you can repeat after me. Shaunaka Uvacha Nirgate Narade Sutta Bhagavan Badarayana Shrutavam Stad Abhipretam Tatah Kimakaro Vibhu. To read the translations today. You will read? Okay, loudly. Okay.
Rishi Saunaka asked, O Sutta, the great and transcendently powerful Vyasadeva heard everything from Sri Narad Muni. So what? So after Narad's departure, what did Vyasadeva do?
Yeah. So now till the 11th verse, the answer will be given. Okay, just remember, first 3 chapters of the first canto was 6 questions asked and the answer was given. And the 4th, 5th, 6th chapter, and now the 7th chapter also, there are 3 more questions that have been asked. One question of the origin of Srimad Bhagavatam. Second was about King Parikshit, the hearer of Bhagavatam, his life story. And third was the speaker, Sukadeva Goswami. So now the first question is being answered in the 4th, 5th, 6th chapter and the first 11 verses of this chapter, which is origin of Bhagavatam. So after the 11th verse, then the other questions will be answered. So Sukadeva Goswami's origin and all will come later. So here, the question asked is, okay, Narad Muni left, then what did Vyasadeva do? Vyasadeva heard from his Guru. Hearing is very important. But what do we do after hearing? That is more important. Right? That is also more exciting. Because we hear a lot. But how do we apply what we hear? Like you may attend Bhagavatam classes and you may hear a lot of things. But after hearing these classes, what do you do in your personal life? That is more important. Otherwise, hearing will not really have the benefit. So that's why the sages want to know, okay, Vyasadeva heard, that is fine, but what did he actually do? We heard that glorify Krishna. We heard that make Krishna's glories as prominent subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. So now what did he do? So it is important that we hear Bhagavatam because when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, every day, you know what will happen to our lives? We will get a perspective which is higher. Right now we are seeing all events from our own vision. It is very narrow, very parochial. So otherwise, if we don't read Bhagavatam, then we may have a lot of experience in this world. We may go through a lot of problems, challenges, but we won't evolve. We won't grow. Simply because you have grown old in life doesn't mean you have realizations. Because you are still seeing things from your own perspective. Only when we see situations from a higher vision, then we get realization. Otherwise, you may be 100 years old. You may have fought 100 battles. It's all useless. Because it is from material point of view. So we need to hear Bhagavatam and see the situations from a higher reality. Because otherwise we suffer in this world. Means something beyond us. Like right now, you will see your family situation. If you don't study Bhagavatam, if you're not Krishna conscious, you will see your family situation, your daughters growing up, your family, your husband's challenges in business, your house issues, all from what you think is right and what your neighbors tell you, what your family members tell you. That is your vision, that is your analysis, that is your understanding. Now, Bhagavatam will give you a higher vision, means Bhagavatam will tell you in terms of death, in terms of eternity, in terms of how Krishna sees your life as one small passing fleeting moment in the sky of eternity. And then when you see your life is not, after all that important, then you learn to get a little detached. Otherwise you'll be so, it's like having a 10 rupee coin and keeping it close to your eyes. When you keep it close to your eyes, your vision of the sun gets blocked. But the sun is trillion times bigger than that coin. Similarly, our issues, our problems are like a 10 rupee coin. Sometimes those issues are so overwhelming that it blocks the vision of a higher reality. We're not able to see something bigger because we are occupied with my problem, my daughter, my job, my house. Sometimes because of that, we are not able to see Krishna, the son of Krishna. We're not able to see a higher reality. But when we hear Bhagavatam, it is like somebody removing your hand and allowing you to see the sun. So our lives, when we are involved in our day-to-day activities, we get so attached, so disturbed that we can't think of anything else. We become selfish. We get so preoccupied with our own problems. But when we read about Bhagavatam, about Krishna, then we learn to see, okay, my life, it's not a big deal. I'm not somebody special. Everybody is going through this. Then you learn to be a little peaceful also. Otherwise, we tend to think I, me, and mine are the most important things in life. Nothing more than everybody is thinking about their own problems. चंद सिर फिरे हैं खुदा की तलाश में, बाकी सब तो दाल रोटी की जुगाड़ में. This is our life. So we have no time for Krishna. We are just occupied with my life, my children, my problems. 80 box बना के देना है बच्चे को, ये करना है, बस यही. But think about it. Who are you? Just look out of your window and see the huge buildings, so many buildings in Mumbai. Look at the population of Mumbai. Look at the population of planet Earth. Who are you? How insignificant we are. If we die today, it will matter nothing to nobody. Nothing. We are nobody. But we take our lives so seriously, the material issues. And we've forgotten our eternal journey, our eternal relationship with Krishna. And that is what Bhagavatam makes us realize. Otherwise, we are stuck with our own life and then we suffer more and more, and it doesn't give any realization. Devotees have so many reasons to cry. But when they read Bhagavatam, they realize that my life is not a big thing. मेरे साथ बैठकर वक्त भी रोया एक दिन. मेरे साथ बैठकर वक्त भी रोया एक दिन. बोला यार तू तो ठीक है, बस मैं ही खराब चल रहा हूँ. So our lives are so much filled with suffering. And if you read Bhagavatam, then what will happen is especially you, because you're grihastha, you are actually dealing with real problems. So when you read Bhagavatam, then suddenly you can become gurus in society because you are suffering. That means your experiences. And then you have Bhagavatam perspective. Whereas a renunciant may not have experience of worldly life. He may just have wisdom of the Bhagavatam. So he's always going to take responsibility, preach, meet people, so that he also gets their experience. And then Bhagavatam is already there. So if you now take Bhagavatam as your life and soul, then the harsh experience of the material world and a powerful combination with Bhagavatam study will make you a guru, will make you help others. Like one Grihastha told me once, प्रभु जी फर्क बहुत है आपकी और मेरी तालीम में. तालीम मतलब एजुकेशन. फर्क बहुत है आपकी और मेरी तालीम में. आपने तो उस्तादों से सीखा है और मैंने हालातों से सीखा है. तो हम लोग उस्तादों से सीखते हैं, बड़े बड़े सीनियर डिवोटीज, भागवतम सुनते हैं रोज, ठीक है, बट आप हालातों से सीख रहे हो. कितना एंजाइटी है. कम ऑन, लेट अस नॉट फूल ईच अदर. डोंट हैव एंजाइटी एंड इनसिक्योरिटी. नाउ यू रीड भागवतम and then that combination will make you sober, will make you wise. Otherwise it will be same punah punashcharvita charvanana. You are just chewing that chew. You are just in the material tabernacle, not coming out of it. It's messy. So therefore we need to read Bhagavatam. The first verse is a very important question where it is being asked, what did Vyasadeva do after Narad Muni left? Let's see what he does now. Is that okay? We'll go now to second verse. Suta uvacha Brahmanadyam Saraswatyam Ashrama Paschime Tate Shamya Prasa iti prokta Rishinam Satravardhanam.
These sutras on the western bank of river Saraswati. It is intimately related with the Vedas. There is a process for meditation at some person which embodies the transcendental activities of the soul.
So this verse is describing the place and atmosphere in which Vyasadeva sat down for meditation after his guru left. Means basically a suitable atmosphere is also necessary for spiritual activities and for meditation. So here it is said that he had an ashram on the bank of Saraswati. So what is an ashram? Ashram is a place where spiritual activities are performed. Generally we think ashram means where some sadhus are living, right? That's what we generally think. But the scriptures explain that wherever spiritual activities are performed and that spiritual activities are foremost, that is an ashram. In Vedic culture, brahmachari life, grihastha life, vanaprastha and sannyas, all four are considered ashram because in all four there is spiritual activity, there is shelter of God, ashraya. That is why it is ashram. Like if you are staying in a house and if you have a spiritual culture, then that is called grihastha ashram. And if there are some sadhus, brahmachari ashram, they are living, but there is no spiritual culture, then it is not an ashram. If they are not practicing spiritual life. So Srila Prabhupada says, none of the four are less important. The purport he says that as far as spiritual culture is concerned, all four of them are same. But still, sannyasis, because of the strength of practical renunciation, they are considered highest because they practically renounce. So from spiritual point of view, there is no difference between these four ashrams. All four can get the highest destination. But from point of view of practical renunciation, sannyasis are held in high esteem. So where did Vyasadeva sit down to do meditation? Brahmanadyam, not ordinary river, but river which is related to Vedas. And in this verse, Srila Prabhupada in the purport focuses on the word ashram because because we all need shelter, we all need ashram. So if you can read the whole purport, starting from for spiritual advancement.
For spiritual advancement of knowledge.
I will tell you when to stop. Okay.
For spiritual advancement of knowledge. Suitable definitely withdrawn. The place on the western bank of philosophy is suitable for this purpose. And there is an ashram of Vraja that comes after. Sri Vraja was a householder, yet his residential place is called an ashram. An ashram is a place where spiritual culture is always foremost. It does not matter whether the place belongs to a householder or meditator. The whole Varna ashram system is so designed that each and every status of life is called an ashram. This means the spiritual culture is aspected for all. The brahmacharis, the grihastha, the vanaprastha, and the sannyasi all belong to the same mission of life, namely realization of the supreme. Therefore, none of them are less important as far as spiritual culture is concerned. The difference is a matter of formality and the strength of renunciation. The sannyasis are held in high estimation and the strength of practical wisdom.
Clear? So both all the four ashramas are powerful if we take shelter of Krishna, but sannyasis are held in higher esteem because they practically renounce. So the difference between grihasthas and renounced order is that for brahmacharis and sannyasis, the renunciation has to be both internal as well as external. That is very important. That is the system. Are you getting it? But for grihastha, it is interesting. Their renunciation needs to be internal. Externally, they can keep their home, family well. So externally, it may appear that a grihastha is not renounced because he has his wealth, house, but he's supposed to carry the mood of renunciation, understanding that this is temporary. Oh, there is a seat here, chair. So if they make spiritual activities as a center, then you know what happens. Then they are at home, but they are called grihastha because they are keeping Krishna at the center. But if they are not renounced internally, then they are called griha medhi. So let us recapitulate this. A renounced order person, sannyasi and brahmachari, has to be renounced internally as well as externally. Grihastha need not be renounced externally, but internally he needs to be renounced, or he has to aspire to get renounced. Then he's called grihastha, or else he is called griha medhi. So ashram, so it becomes grihastha. Ashram means what? Any place is called ashram when we engage our body, mind, and words in glorifying Krishna. So if you are using your body, mind, and words to serve Krishna, then you are considered as a resident of an ashram. So, and this is common for all ashrams. Like Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Prabhupada's guru, he would say to his brahmacharis and sannyasis that you are staying in the matha, temple, but if you don't keep Krishna in center, then you are matha medhi. Like a grihastha, we say is griha medhi. He said, you are matha medhi. And then he said, purpose of the matha is to not convert the funds that we get, the donations we get. The purpose is not to convert them into stool and urine. The purpose is to glorify Krishna. The purpose is to serve Krishna. So therefore, it is not that only one who is staying at home has a risk of not being in an ashram. It's very important. So now we will go to the third verse, but before that, please understand where we are. Vyasdev, Guru has left, but the sages want to know what did Vyasdev do. So he was sitting on the bank of river Saraswati meditating, and what he was about to do before that, I wanted to go back to the 2 chapters before, 5th chapter, 13th verse. All of you have access to this, 1.5.13. Can all of you go back there? All of you have access to 1.5.13. Can you please repeat this verse? This is a verse which is spoken by who? Anybody knows? Narad Muni is speaking this to Vyasadeva. 1.5.13. 1.3. Ato Mahabhaga Bhavanamo Gradrip. Shuchi Shava Satyarato Drita Vrita. Gurukramasya Kilabanda Muktaye Samadhinano Smarata Vicheshkitam.
Your vision is completely perfect. Your good pain is spotted. You are firm in vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus you can think of the partials of the Lord in plan for the liberation of people in Vraja from all material forms.
So you see what is happening. Narad Muni is telling his disciple that you can think of the pastimes of the Lord in trance, in meditation. Do it. So he has given an order, and now he's left. So now we are coming back to second chapter, text number 3. You will see that Vyasadeva is exactly doing what his guru has asked him to do. Is that okay? So let's go to verse number 3 and let's see what Vyasadeva does. Tasmin sa ashrame Vyaso Badari Shanda Mandite Asino Paupasprishya Pranedadyo Manaswayam.
That place in Vraja in his own ashram, he was surrounded by very trees. Sat down to meditate after touching water.
So Vyasadeva sat down for meditation. Why did he sit down for meditation? Everybody knows. Instruction of his guru. And his guru has left. So now he's sitting down for meditation. And what it is seen is meditation. This is one of the most, now what you're going to read now, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is one of the most fascinating sections of the Bhagavatam, which reveals what the glory of Bhagavatam. So if you have understood this, like this will keep coming back. We will keep coming back to this section even after 10 years. Whenever we study Bhagavatam, this will be like commonly, we'll keep coming to this. That's why it's very important that you are attentive at this stage. So what did Vyasadeva see in his meditation? Verse number 4. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyat purusham purnam mayam cha tadapashrayam.
Thus he fixed his mind, perfectly engaging it by linking it in devotional service, that Bhakti Yoga, without any tinge of materialism. And thus he saw the absolute truth of the absolute personality of Godhead, along with his external energy, which was under full control.
So Bhakti Yogena Manasi, in his meditation, which was basically a practice of Bhakti Yoga, he saw Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Male. He was free of all contamination, and he saw Apashyat Purusham Purnam. He saw the complete personality of Godhead. He saw Krishna. Purnam means complete. So in his meditation, when he sat down for meditation, he saw Krishna in his completeness. Purusham, not Purusham only. Purusham, Purnam, complete person, which is Krishna. And interestingly, he also saw Maya, Chatar Apashrayam. He saw Maya, which is under the control of Krishna. So he saw full Krishna, and then he saw Maya also. So Purusham Purnam is very important. Purnam means complete, means he saw Krishna. Like, how to understand Purusham Purnam. It's like you say Purnima, for example. Purnima is full moon night. So what do you see on Purnima night when you see in the sky? Full moon. So the moon you see on Purnima night, if you have seen the full moon on Purnima night, then you have also seen the moon of Ashtami, Saptami, Ekadashi, Dvadashi, Trayodasi. That moon also you have seen when you have seen the Purnima moon. Similarly, if you have seen Purusham Purnam, if you have seen Krishna, then you have also seen the other incarnations of Krishna. That is what this means. Like, for example, in the third canto, Vyasdeva explained in great detail about Vraja Bihari in 13th, 17th, 18th, and 19th chapters. But all that is included within Purusham Purnam, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. We actually have discussed this in great detail when we were studying the third chapter, all the incarnations and all that we've discussed. We will not go into that. But the point is, we saw Krishna. But along with Krishna is also seeing the illusion energy of the Lord. So Prabhupada speaks about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and the purport. That when you have seen Bhagavan, you've also seen Brahman and Paramatma. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about, there is a. So from this section, can you read? I don't know how you find it. The Supreme Person has manifold energies. Can you see that? You have to go down the purport after half the purport.
Yeah. The Supreme Person has manifold energy.
Yeah.
Out of which the internal, external, and marginal energies are specifically important. The energy mentioned here is the external energy. The internal energy is there along with the abstract person, as the moonlight is there with the moon. The external energy is compared to the darkness because it keeps the living entity in the darkness of the universe. The word apostayam suggests that this energy of the Lord is under full control. The internal potency or superior energy is also called Maya, but it is spiritual Maya or energy exhibited in the absolute realm. When one is under the shelter of this internal potency, the darkness of material ignorance is at once dissipated. And even those who are Atma Dharam or fixed in trance take shelter of that Maya or internal energy. Devotional service or Bhakti Yoga is the function of the internal energy. Thus, there is no place for inferior energy or material energy, just like there is no place for darkness in the effulgence of spiritual life.
Okay. So basically, very clear. There is spiritual energy and there is material energy. Now, living entity, all of us, we are in the middle. Actually, we are part of Lord's spiritual energy. But because the next verse will reveal, we have made some wrong choices, we get influenced by the material energy. See, like bank of a river. Bank of a river is sometimes wet, sometimes dry, depending on the water coming on the bank. So similarly, we are called Tatastha, bank, because sometimes we are under the Lord's internal energy, spiritual energy, and sometimes we get influenced by the material energy. So we as human beings, we have a choice. We can choose to be under the spiritual energy. We have a choice because human life, we began today's class with this point that as a human being, we can make a choice. As animals, we cannot because human life is like a junction. Like if you take a train from Churchgate, Marine Lines, Churney Road, Grant Road, you don't have much choice. The train you can't get on the train and take another train somewhere else. It's all Western Railway, same. It's not a junction. But the other, there's a lot of choice. Right? So human life is like that. Human life is like the other station. Animals, they don't have much choice. They just have to go through the body that they have been given with. Human beings can make a choice. We can choose to be in the Lord's internal energy. But because they don't do that, we suffer. Sorry? No, I'm okay. I'll be okay. So, verse 4, they have spoken about. So, Vyasdev is meditating, and what did he see? What did he see so far in his meditation? He saw Krishna and he saw Maya. And now, the next verse will reveal, he saw the living entities. How did he see them? Verse number 5. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam triguna atmakam paropi manute nartam tatkritam chapi padyate.
Due to this action and energy, the living entity, although transcendental to three modes of material nature, thinks of himself as material product and thus undergoes the reaction of material nature.
So the living entity is bewildered. Sammohito jiva. Atmanam trigunasmakam. He comes under the influence of three modes. Actually, is beyond this material world. Paropi manute nartam. But still, tatkritam chapi padyate. Still he gets trapped by this material energy. So Srila Prabhupada would give an example of sun. Sunlight is coming from where? Sun. So sunlight is the internal energy of the sun. But the same sun also creates indirectly the clouds. But these clouds, they cover our vision of the sun. Right? So this cloud is like the external energy of the sun. The sunlight is the internal energy. Similarly, Krishna is a person, and Krishna's internal energy, the living entity, is like the Krishna's internal energy. But unfortunately, what has happened is Krishna's external energy is so powerful. See, can the cloud cover the sun? No. What does the cloud cover? It covers our vision of the sun. Similarly, Krishna's external energy cannot cover Krishna. It covers our vision. So Maya is very powerful because Maya comes from Krishna. But Maya cannot cover Krishna. Maya is not more powerful. Like in Christians, they say Saturn is very powerful. In fact, they say he is so powerful that he can even tempt Jesus. Of course, Jesus didn't get tempted, that's another thing. But Saturn is powerful. But we say no. Cloud covers our vision, but cloud is not more powerful than the sun. That clarity is there. So Vyasadeva saw three things. He saw Krishna, he saw Maya, and he saw the living entity controlled by Maya. He saw how we are misidentified. Basically, he has seen the problem. He has diagnosed the problem. And now we go to the solution. He'll also get a vision of the solution. But before that, when you go to a doctor, before the doctor gives you a solution, he has to first diagnose. He has to see the problem. So therefore, this purport is very, very important. If we read this purport very carefully, our affection and love for Krishna will increase. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that the living being is by constitution transcendental to material engagement. Can you read from there? The second sentence onwards. Third sentence onwards.
The living entity is like it is now imprisoned by the external energy. Therefore, it thinks itself one of the material products. And due to this unholy contact, the pure spiritual entity suffers material desires under the most of material nature. The living entity misunderstands itself to be a material product. This means that the present perverted way of thinking, feeling, and living under material condition is not a natural for him. What he has is normal way of thinking, feeling, and living. The living being in its original state is not without thinking, feeling, and feeling power. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that the actual knowledge of the condition is not powered by
Nescience first. So this nescience means ignorance. So basically we are pure, but we have come into illusion. Srila Prabhupada gives a very graphic example in the third canto. He says our illusion is like a man dreaming. And in the dream, he sees his head is being cut off. So Srila Prabhupada says, can you see your head being cut off? How can you see your head being cut off? It can only happen in a dream-like situation because it cannot happen. Similarly, we are pure spirit soul. How can we identify with matter? It's only possible in a dream-like situation. That's why this is called illusion. And the whole Bhagavatam focus is to wake us up. Come on, wake up. What you're getting attached to, what you're identifying is illusion. This is crazy. This is unreal. That is why Bhagavatam classes are held, to wake us up. So that chanting we do, the hearing we do, all this is like, okay, I am Krishna's servant. And when we keep hearing this, suddenly we wake up one moment. It's like we get realization. Realization means the aha moment, epiphany. When you suddenly feel, yes, what I just now read, or what I just now heard in the class, this is right. That moment when you get that feeling, this is right, and I am wrong, and I'm happy about it. That is realization. So, hearing and chanting regularly in Bhagavatam helps us get this realization. Means hearing and chanting will wake us up from our dream-like condition. That is what Prabhupada is writing in the purpose. Therefore, in many brahmacharya ashrams, I'm going to share some secrets. Not everywhere, in some places, they don't even have a mirror in the ashram. Like they have a mirror, on the mirror they put a notice, it's a sticker they have put. You are not what you are seeing. So that, brahmachari doesn't keep looking at himself in the mirror and, oh, I'm beautiful. No. You are supposed to know that you are not the body. You are not this temporary. And in many places, there is no mirror only in the ashram. Like they have just kept one small mirror, this much, just to put tilak. Why? The whole idea is one should not be attached to the body. One should not be thinking about temporary things. So, Srimad Bhagavatam hearing therefore is the solution, because it wakes us up. It is like the alarm that goes off. And then we realize, oh, what am I doing? I'm in an illusion condition. So that's why Srila Prabhupada gave us Bhagavatam as that one solution for all problems. Like, we have this goldsmith, we have a small hammer. Sau sonar ki ek lohar. So Bhagavatam, Krishna consciousness is like that one big hammer blow. So therefore, this is very important to hear classes, Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam. But sometimes people say, why do you keep talking about going back to Godhead, back to Krishna? Why don't you help us become peaceful here in this world? Many people say that. So we say, yes, we can be peaceful in this world, but for that also you have to surrender to Krishna. Because we can't be peaceful in this world because we want to be peaceful, but we also want to enjoy this body. See, we want to be peaceful in this world through this body. But this body is kleshara ashadeha. This body only gives suffering. Open your eyes, just see life around you. Does your body give you happiness or misery? Compare and contrast. What are the different ways your body can give you pleasure? And what are the different ways your body can give you pain? Count and see the difference. Like Srila Prabhupada gave the example that once a person is haunted by a ghost. So when you are haunted by a ghost, one of the methods they use to remove the ghost is they take till, sesame seeds, and they sprinkle it. And they remove the ghost. Now Srila Prabhupada said, but sometimes the ghost enters the pill, enters the sesame seed. Then what do? Then you have to throw away that pill. Right? Now similarly, Prabhupada said, we want to be happy in this material world, but our medium for happiness in this material world is this body. But this body only gives us pain. Look at, for example, simple thing. Now my throat, I can't speak. What will happen when we don't know? You may be a great singer, but can't sing. You may be a great boxer, but your hand will one day not work. So it is common sense. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very, very powerful example why Krishna has done this system so that we understand that this world is not our place. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the Lord does not desire, can use a long purport. In the first paragraph, just towards the end of the first paragraph of the purport, there is a sentence beginning with, the Lord does not desire that a living being be illusioned by the external energy. Can you read from there, too? The first paragraph of the fifth purport. The Lord does not desire.
Yes, the Lord does not desire that a living being be illusioned by external energy. The external energy is aware of this fact, but still he accepts a thankless task of keeping the forgotten soul under illusion by her bewildering influence. The Lord does not interfere with the task of the illusory energy, because such performance of the illusory energy are also necessary for reformation of the conditioned soul. An affectionate father does not like his children to be chastised by another agent. Yet he puts his disobedient children under the custody of a severe man just to bring them to order.
Yes. Srila Prabhupada says, there are two ways Krishna reclaims all of us. First is punishment through external energy. Basically, the external energy tells us, this is not your place, you are suffering. Second, Krishna gives us teachings through Guru. So Prabhupada said, there are two ways. One is, when a person has forgotten, in the old Bollywood movies they used to show, the hero has forgotten his whatever, his home and everything. So then they take him to his house and they show him all the things to revive his memory. But sometimes he doesn't remember. So then what they give? Electric shock. And then he gets jolted. So Krishna has 2-point program for us. Through Guru, through devotees, we are reminded, this is your home, come back to Krishna. But we are stubborn, so we also get electric shock through external energy. So like this, Krishna takes care of us. But you may say, but how can God want us to be punished? No, God doesn't want us to be punished, and He doesn't like to personally punish us. But it's like, if you see a surgeon, an expert surgeon, he will never perform the surgery of his own child because he's attached. So Krishna will not do it. Krishna will not give us this punishment. Krishna loves us too much. But because we are disobedient, to help us reform, He has employed this external energy. And when we are loose in Krishna consciousness, Maya's grip increases. And as we intensify spiritual practices, Maya's grip loosens. So it's a simple formula. It's like a mathematical formula. So, somebody may say, but why can't Krishna prevent us from suffering? We are going through so much suffering all the time. Okay, if you are a devotee, you say you love Krishna, please know that Krishna has reduced your suffering already. We were a lot of lot was due to us, but Krishna has reduced. Srila Prabhupada said when he was a Grihastha in 1920s in Prayag, Allahabad, with a pharmacist. Electricity was new, exciting. So he had an electric fan at home. And his son would insist on putting his hand in the fan. But he would break his finger. So Srila Prabhupada stopped him, but the son would always want to put his finger. So then Prabhupada's friend, Dr. Ghosh, she suggested that he switch off the fan. He stopped the fan. And just at the last, when the fan was about to stop, just when it was a little slow, then he told the boy, okay, now put your finger. So he put his finger, he got hit. But it wasn't so bad. But it was enough for him to learn the lesson and not put his finger ever in the fan. So Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna does that with us. He puts us through suffering so that we understand that this is what we have to go through. So therefore, in the last part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, another point is distinct herein. Can you see that? It's a long purport, but it is one of the most powerful purports. Another point is distinct here in the eternal relation between the Lord and the living being is transcendental. Yeah, read it.
Another point is distinct hearing. That eternal relation between the Lord and the living being is transcendent. Otherwise, the Lord would not have taken the trouble to reclaim the conditioned soul from the surface of Maya. In the same way, the living entity is also required to provide its natural love and affection for the Lord. That is the highest perfection of the living entity. Srimad Bhagavatam treats the conditioned soul to the aim to
that goal of life. See, Vyasadeva saw who? What are the things Vyasadeva saw first? He saw Krishna. He also saw. Somebody may say, we are seeing Krishna. Then why does he have to see the external energy? Why does he have to see Maya? See, he saw Maya because if he only describes Krishna, many of us will not be attracted because we are attracted to Maya. See, we identify with material energy. So if Vyasadeva describes only Krishna, then Jiva cannot relate to Krishna. So he wants to make Bhagavatam relevant to us. So therefore you'll see that Bhagavatam contains many things about material energy. See, because we have identified with Maya, so to cure our disease, he explains, like for example, Krishna Katha is there, but along with Krishna Katha, the Bhagavatam also contains planetary systems, creation, secondary creation. The logic is this is all part of material energy. Therefore, even before we read about beautiful Krishna Katha, the first 9 cantos, we find all these topics. Means understanding Lord's material energy is very important because we have to understand our disease and accept that we are entangled. Then we can accept medicine of Krishna Katha. Therefore, the first 9 cantos where direct Krishna Katha is not there, that is also equally important. So we have to see the problem and not just the solution. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary on this verse, he says Krishna deals with all of us in 3 ways. First, we saw the example, keeping an agent to punish us, that is Maya. Second, the Lord himself comes and attracts us by performing pastimes. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, sometimes a king goes to the prison and he appeals to the prisoners that please reform. So 2 ways. First, the king puts the person in prison and then he appeals to that person to get out. Similarly, Krishna helps us go through punishment and he also comes and performs pastimes to reclaim us. And third way is he guides us through teachers, through spiritual master. So these are the 3 ways the Lord is taking care of us. He is taking care of you and me because he has given us teachers. Secondly, the fact that we are going through suffering means he is taking care of us. And third, he has come and performed beautiful pastimes to attract us. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada says the Lord has taken so much trouble because he loves us. We have seen the problem, and now, what is the problem we have seen? There is Krishna, there is Maya, and the living entity controlled by Maya. This is the problem. In the next verse, the solution, which we will not take up today, we'll take up next time. But I just want to conclude with this, that what we are doing right now, in fact, we have been doing for the last 47 sessions, is we are trying to connect to a reality beyond our day-to-day problems. We are trying to connect with Krishna because this world is only full of suffering and we are not meant to suffer. We are not meant to suffer, but we are suffering. We are pure spirit soul, but we are trapped in a suffering world. Therefore, we have these Bhagavatam classes so that we learn how to get out of this suffering condition. Simple example. You know what has happened in Turkey now? Madness, the kind of earthquake. We have seen tsunamis happen in the past. So there is already so much suffering and death staring at us. And what we are doing, like what is America and China doing? They're fighting over a balloon. Balloon. See, when we were children, we fought over a balloon. Now, America and China are also fighting over a balloon. Spy balloon. America is spending $330 billion on the defense budget. China is spending $225 billion. I mean, and what is when children fight on a balloon, for a balloon, what happens? Nothing happens. But when grown-up people like this, they fight over a spy balloon, there can be a nuclear war. So the point I'm saying is crazy disasters are awaiting to happen in this material world. And all this is superficial and trivial, considering that we will all be wiped out in no time. Still, we are zombies. We're not interested in Krishna consciousness. We're getting carried away by these issues. जन्म और मृत्यु तो ईश्वर के हाथ में है, हमारे हाथ में तो स्मार्टफोन है बस। वही देखते पूरा दिन हम लोग देखते रहते हैं। So we have to see ourselves in relationship to this planet, we have to see ourselves in relationship to the universe. We mean nothing. We have to get out of this, and we have to come out of this paradigm of, we generally live in the paradigm of enjoy. See, enjoyment paradigm means suffering. Enjoy to suffer is the paradigm we live. There is another paradigm, service for satisfaction. When we serve, we experience satisfaction. There is another paradigm. So, but we have not been trained for that. We've only been trained to have desires. There are so many material desires, and we also want shanti, peace, which is very, very contradictory. People have desire for peace, but their material desire. शांति की इच्छा है, वो बोलते हैं प्रभु जी शांति की इच्छा है, तो मैं बोलता हूँ शांति की इच्छा हो तो पहले इच्छाओं को शांत करो, और पहले डिजायर्स को कम करो, डिजायर्स को थोड़ा. So, and therefore, the first step is come to temple, hear Bhagavatam class, connect the deities, and come to temple also with desires only. आज कमाल का ताना मारा मंदिर में भगवान ने, आज कमाल का ताना मारा मंदिर में भगवान ने, मांगने आते हो हमेशा, कभी मिलने भी आया करो. ये हमारा लाइफ है. मंदिर भी आते हैं तो all desire, and we want peace. How we will get peace? Therefore, we have no choice but to take our relationship to a deeper level by studying Bhagavatam, by coming to the way, coming to temple. This is an important step in Krishna consciousness, what you are doing now. You are now entering deep into Bhagavatam. We are entering into the origin of Bhagavatam, what Vyasadeva actually saw. And now next week you are going to read the solution. Then you are going to read, you are directly going to dive into the most intense pastime of Ashwatthama, killing children of Draupadi and confusions in devotees' life. Krishna is telling, kill him. Yudhishthira is saying, don't kill. All these, our devotees go through confusion, do this, don't do this. So we are going to enter into very intense, deep pastimes. So therefore, Bhagavatam introduction is over. And now we are understanding deeper aspects. So we request you to come for these classes and also study Bhagavatam deeply. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.